It is no secret that I really, really like Hypnosis Mic. I made a whole video in anticipation of the anime coming out, and then I became way more active on Twitter as the anime broadcasted, in part because it was trending in Japan, I think, every single week. There were high expectations for this show before it aired, and the Hypnosis Mic anime fulfilled its purpose of hyping up fans for the second battle season, but as much as I love this franchise, I know I'm not the only one that didn't have all of their expectations met by the end of the anime's 13-episode run. The anime does not answer any big questions, and it's not a replacement for the drama tracks or manga, but is it at least a good entry point for the franchise? Well, maybe. In my previous video on Hypmic, I compared the story to Evangelion and JoJo's, which I still stand by. But as the anime aired, fans started drawing comparisons to two very different shows. Those being Yu-Gi-Oh!, specifically 5Ds, and Precure. And that is not a coincidence. Multiple members of the show's staff, including the director and most of the writers, previously worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! And one of Hypmic's episode directors previously worked on Precure, and one of its storyboarders worked on Precure's spiritual ancestor, Sailor Moon. So most of the similarities are not homage as much as they are part of these creators' own styles that they are bringing to the table. And I think these staff members were a great fit. The anime looked really good most of the time. Most of the time. I said most of the time. Most of the time, okay? Overall, the anime staff did a great job visually translating the rap battles in an interesting way. I like how the Hypnosis speakers create whole environments that disorient and attack opponents instead of just zapping them with bursts of energy like in the manga. I really loved it when they went all out with the pop art aesthetic. And on the scripting side of things, the anime had a lot of nice character interactions to appreciate. The complaint I have been seeing the most about the show is that the story wasn't serious enough. In an interview on the Japanese entertainment news site called Natalie, one of the writers of the series basically asked viewers not to take the show too seriously. It's a show about a world ruled by rap, and it won't work if you take it too seriously. And this is absolutely true. It's clear that the anime staff didn't want to get bogged down in incorporating every nitty-gritty detail about the story, and the anime is just an exercise in having fun with the franchise's premise. That being said, I do think some of the creative liberties taken with the show were disappointing for fans that wanted to see the more serious aspects of the story get animated. And some of the changes that were made to the plot could possibly confuse any fans that seek out other materials after watching the anime. You see, the anime adaptation of Hypmic either ignores or flat out contradicts story details established in the drama tracks, manga, and official guidebook, which are all considered canon. Some pretty big things were changed in the anime, but before I dig into that, I want to clarify that the anime is not the first time the Hypmic franchise has presented an alternative to the main story. Both the phone game and the stage musicals are considered alternative universe, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of fun what-ifs that we get to see play out, and I don't think adaptation should have to be 100% faithful, no matter the medium. But since the anime is so much more accessible than arguably any other part of the franchise, I do wish it had been a more accurate representation of the main story. The anime is comprised of episodic vignettes focusing on one division at a time, and then 3 episodes are dedicated to the division rap battle. The winners and losers are kept as the same as in the drama tracks and manga, but the aftermath of the DRB that acts as the finale is totally original to the anime. So what did the anime get wrong, so to say? The characters' rap abilities? After long-term usage, some Hypnosis Mic users develop special rap abilities. These abilities make and break the rap battles in the manga, and each has its own name and description in the official guidebook. And in the anime, they're all either ignored or changed, with the exception of Jakurai's, presumably because his is plot relevant. Ryo's mic. Ryo's Hypnosis mic is actually different from all the other characters. It's not a Chuoku model. His is a prototype he received from the military before it disbanded. This means that not only does it have a different design devoid of Chuoku's emblem, but it also means that his mic isn't registered with the current government. It's not an illegal mic since he got it through legal means, but it's actively sought after on the black market. There's all this neat world building that's tightly packed into this one item, and it's completely ignored in the anime, and Ryo just has a Chuoku mic like everybody else. Some changes to the characters. It's inevitable that some aspects of the characters are going to end up lost in adaptation. It can actually be quite interesting to see different creators' takes on the same characters. But my primary complaint in this department is Ramada, in addition to basically Fling Posse as a whole. Anime Ramada is a lot more childish and defeatist. His promiscuous alter ego, extreme mood swings, and struggle to find purpose are replaced with a much more simplistic archetype. Anime Ramada's cheery disposition is presented as his dominant personality and his true self, whereas in the official guidebook, it's stated that Ramada suffers from intense mood swings, but the implication is that no matter his emotional state, he's still himself. He doesn't have split personalities like a lot of the fans assume, and he's not putting on an act when it comes to his tone of voice like the anime seems to imply. Ramada is one of my favorite characters. I mean, I love everybody, but I could probably make a whole video about Ramada, so I'm just gonna leave it there and move on to the rest of Fling Posse. Anime Dice is also a lot softer around the edges and acts a lot like an older brother type. The anime portrays him as more of an innocent stray dog or lost child than the hedonistic fundamentalist he is in the manga and drama tracks. Anime Dice is a lot closer to how a lot of fans interpret the character, so I would like to assume that in this case they were trying to please fans rather than just miss the point the way it feels like they did with Ramada. Anime Gentaro is also a lot more chummy than he is in the drama tracks or manga, and apparently his way of speaking was localized in a rather interesting way in the North American subtitles. I don't hate the anime's version of Fling Posse, but I do think that they were a bit shortchanged. If you've only seen the anime and Fling Posse is your favorite, and you want to seek out more of the franchise because of them, just be aware that you are in for a different ride. The absence of the Nagoya and Osaka divisions. After the first battle season, 2 new divisions were added to Hypmic's roster, but these newer characters that currently make up a third of the cast are totally ignored in the anime, with the exception of Rei, who makes a cameo once, and that's it. If you're specifically interested in Badass Temple and Dotsuritari Honpo, but not the original 4 divisions, then the Hypmic anime is not for you. The addition of the anime's original characters. So 3 new characters were created just for the anime. Yes, those are their names. Tom and crew aren't in any other previous Hypmic materials, and I actually have no issue with the new characters. I think it's kind of interesting how they managed to retcon them into the story, and I think most fans had the same reaction where they actually ended up pretty fond of them. But if you watched the anime and they ended up as your favorite characters, there is currently no other media with them in it because they weren't a part of the story in the first place. Those are the major changes. I feel like there's a lot of small stuff that doesn't really bear mentioning. Now, there's a few reasons for the extensive creative liberties the anime staff took. The anime had a pretty long development phase beginning in early 2018 when the only source materials released were the 4 introductory CDs. And then, due to COVID-19, the anime had its broadcast delayed by about half a year. This also meant that the voice actors had to record their lines separately, and despite precautions against the virus, 2 of the voice actors tested positive for it. And during this period of delay, the official guidebook was released, along with a lot of juicy character details that were originally planned to be revealed after the anime had finished airing. The anime had to be written and probably rewritten as new information was being revealed over time. And while I think it does offer an excuse for some of the creative choices in the anime, things like Ryo's mic were laid out in those first drama tracks that were out before the anime even started production, and the anime obviously took into account much of the new information that's come out in the past 2 years, like the DRB results. There's a lot of details for veteran fans to pick up on in the anime. The hand signs from the stage musicals, the glow rings from the real-life concerts, the recreation of the first Battle CD cover, and there's even a reference to the old podcast that you can't even listen to anymore. So why were they able to work in all these great nods to other parts of the franchise, but they couldn't be bothered to give Sasura and Kuko a quick cameo? So here's my verdict for if you should watch the Hypmic anime. If you want a serious, detailed explanation of the characters' backstories and the setting's lore, no. If you want a faithful adaptation of the manga, no. If you are a hardcore hipster, why are you here? You have already watched this anime. If you are curious about Hypmic, and English is your only language, and the anime is what you have the easiest access to, yes. If you just want a fun show that is entertaining and not meant to be taken too seriously, yes. There is no right or wrong way to get into Hypmic. It is a marvelous, sprawling franchise and money-making machine for Kodansha that shows no signs of slowing down at the moment, so you might as well hop on for the ride. I'll leave some extra info and links in the description, and as always, thanks for watching.